college sports, I still work out a few times a week. Nothing worked. As a doctor and a dad, I want to be around as long as possible and feel good about my body. Dr. Rappaport put together a personalized treatment plan that worked. It was easy for me to make appointments, get to those appointments, and get back to work in time. I also recommend the Imsella chair for any urinary issues or ED. Dr. Rappaport has state-of-the-art treatment options for men. And the M-Sculpt Neo is an abs blast. 20,000 crunches in 30 minutes. Give yourself your own gift this Father's Day at the Jack's Aesthetic Center. Build muscle and lose fat. Call or text today, 904-808-2455. That's 904-808-2455. You won't be sorry.
This is the sound of turning small bets into legendary wins. Only on the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app. The sound of parlays. The sound of paydays. The sound of watching the game will never be the same. Hard Rock Bet has already paid out millions and millions in parlays to people across Florida. Download Hard Rock Bet now, and if your first bet doesn't win, get up to $100 back as a bonus bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to play. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
The Drill on 1010XL. From the studios of Republic Services. We'll handle it from here.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Coogan Nation. Time to rise and shine and start your day with Duval Sports Media Big Steppers. Dan Hicken.
You know it!
Jeff Prosser.
It's a big deal.
Gosh, it sure is a big deal.
And E to the T.
E.T. is in the booth.
Rise and shine. Googans, go time. On a Wednesday morning, it's hump day. You know what that means? It's stump day. How'd y'all do last week, by the way, E? Good morning, friend. How are we?
What'd they do, my boys? Let's just say we could have used you.
You know what that is? That's karma for all those Googans out there who were hammering us the week before. Listen, Teamwork is great. That's why it's called teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. So we'll be. Listen, Get Smart John knows what happens when he's got a full deck in front of him. Okay, he'll fold. Fold, he says. Fold. That's what we're gonna make him do. That's still an hour and a half away. Listen. Middle of the week, we like to have a little fun. We know a lot of you like to play along, and then those that don't, just, you get through it.
You will be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay. The Jaguars special teams coach spoke at the end of last week. Typically, when a special teams coach speaks in the preseason, even, never mind OTAs, how much weight does it really carry? I think most of us think about special teams, and there's like just three things you got to do, right? And there's a lot more to it than this, right? But for us, there's like three things. And number one by a mile that will affect a fan's opinion on what he thinks a team's or how good and accomplished a team's special teams are is what? Is if the dude knocks through the field goal with 44 seconds to go, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing about the special teams always seems to come down to the kicker's success. And then there are a couple of other aspects. You don't want to see your return team continually give up 30, 40-yard returns, obviously. You don't want to give up a big one. And can you splash once or twice, really over the course of a 17-game season, with a big return of your own? And by big, I mean touchdown, a scoring return. But for the most part, when we think special teams, how good's your kicker? How reliable is your kicker? But that changes this year. Probably not as much as we're playing up. I don't know, but I'm really intrigued to see, because we haven't seen it at all unless you've watched any of these spring football games, and odds are you haven't watched much of them. And if you have, I've seen bits and pieces. I try every spring to jump into these XFL, USFL, UFL games. I do. I try. I can't do it, E. I just can't get there. I don't know if the soul needs a football purge. I don't know if you just need to step away, because between the interest in college football here in our town and obviously our Jaguars, it's just full bore, it feels like, from the middle of August to the middle of January. Hopefully longer some years. So maybe your brain just needs a break. But I cannot, for the life of me, get into these spring football games. And I give it an honest go. I feel like every year I just can't do it. I try and find a hook. I try and find a player or a quarter. I just can't do it. I couldn't tell you the teams that are in the UFL. I couldn't. I'm not sure I could tell you a player. How about that? I think maybe A.J. McCarron I may have seen slinging around. There's probably some quarterbacks, yeah. But I don't know. In fact, maybe the dude that we had. Who's the guy we had?
Who do we have?
E.J. Perry, is that it?
E.J.
That's his name?
Perryman?
Perry, if quarterback? I think he might be in one of those leagues. I don't. My point is this. What little I've seen of the Spring Football League does not include a kickoff. I haven't seen a kickoff. Since the NFL announced they're basically stealing the kickoff idea from the Spring League, the only reason to watch one of those games, in my opinion, would be to see a kickoff and see just exactly. Now, I've seen them in the past. I have seen the play executed, but every time I've seen a kickoff in spring football history with these new rules, and I believe it's just been the last 2 years, and honestly, I can count the number of kickoffs that I've seen on one hand. I've never sat down and watched a game for the game's sake. It's always just been hit or miss. Typically you turn it on during game action, and about 4 plays says, yeah, no, let's watch golf. The 4 or 5 kickoffs I've seen have been a glimpse into 1940s football where all 22 players are within like 4 feet of each other, it feels like, and they just run into the middle of the line and plays over. That's what it feels like. Now, I know they say it's supposed to open up the return game. We shall see, but we're going to see a comedy of errors at times. Think about this, E. Every single player in the NFL has played football on kickoffs the same way since they were old enough to put it on a tee and kick it off.
Yeah.
Right? So I would imagine you're going to see more time invested in this new play, which probably by about week 3 or 4 will be figured out. They'll figure out what the flaw is in the design of allowing these returners. It does seem, though, just because, basically you got like 10v10 standing, gladiator style, 10, 15 yards apart. Then you got the kicker, and you got the returner. And the kicker, by the way, has to drop it within a certain parameter, and we went over it when the rule came out. It'll become old hat soon enough. But back to my original point, we heard from the Jaguar special teams coach, perhaps in the most interesting context that we've ever talked to a special teams coach this time of the year, so I thought we would go down that path a little bit. And I will pull up, even though I haven't seen them, some of the numbers when it comes to the statistics of the kick return in these spring leagues versus what we're used to. And I don't think we have to go. What's the average kick return in the NFL, would you say, E?
I'd say anywhere 15.
20 yards, right?
Yeah, 15 to 20
25 yards. We don't have to look it up. So unless something from these kick return numbers, stats from the spring league, jump way inside or outside of that realm, I think it's just all the end result is going to be what the intent is, and that is to lessen the injury impact. Right? Your 10 guys are coming at each other from 15 yards and not 45 in a full sprint. It sure seems like, man, just give your guy a crease, though. Doesn't it? I mean, they're all there.
Yeah.
There's no layered defense there. I mean, your guy, you better have a fast guy with an angle, or you better not let him get past that initial scrum. We'll take a look at some of those numbers here from the Jaguars special teams coach as well. We got some more Jags sound to parse through in this somewhat active time of the offseason. Well, our Murphy Power Hour has gone international, so we won't have Daniel Murphy today.